Today in the program, at the expense of the state, the government of Kazakhstan will launch a mechanism for subsidizing rental housing. This measure will help 70,000 families. Details below.
Алло, добрый день. Беспокойственного контакт-центра iKOMEK 109. Ахмарал?
Available 24 hours a day. In total, over 224,000 people contacted the iKOMEK Center in January. Over a third of the calls concerned the new Omicron strain. Our correspondent found out what else the residents were interested in. A statesperson, wise diplomat, companion of Bopai Khanym, a book about Bopai Khanym was presented in the capital. The author in her work cites previously unknown facts. Yerlan Koshanov is the new chairman of the Mazhilis of Kazakh Parliament. His candidacy was proposed by a parliament member, Yerlan Sayirov, at a plenary session. After that, a secret voting using paper ballots took place. For this purpose, the counting commission was formed, booths were equipped, and the transparent ballot box was installed. Previously, starting 2019, Koshanov headed the administration of the country's president. Before that, he worked as the governor of Karaganda region, as well as the head of the Prime Minister's office and the Civil Aviation Committee.
Өмір жолының бірқатар уақыты осы парламент қабырғасында.
First of all, thank you for the unanimous support of my candidacy and the trust shown. I already had an experience of working within the walls of the parliament. With your support, I hope that we will continue to work together. I understand that this is a special honor to be the head of the Mazhilis and a colossal responsibility to the people of Kazakhstan and the president.
Қазақстан халқы мен мемлекет басшысының алдындағы зор үлкен жауапкершілік.
At the plenary session, the members of the parliament unanimously adopted a resolution on the early termination of the powers of the Mazhilis chairman Nurlan Nigmatulin, based on the resignation of his own free will. The Kazakh government will pay half of the amount from the rental housing of citizens on the waiting list whose income is less than one subsistence minimum per month. Such a mechanism of state support for vulnerable segments of the population will be launched in May. Basty Bank will operate the program. This was reported today during the meeting of the government, where Kazakh PM Alixan Smailov also instructed the Ministry of Industry to draw up a draft law to introduce digital technologies in the regulation of the construction industry by April 1st. 50 billion tenge will be allocated to support 70,000 Kazakh residents who need housing. As such, it is expected that housing issues of more than 500,000 citizens will be resolved in 10 years. The COVID-19 situation in Kazakhstan remains difficult. Most regions remain in the red zone. Over the past 2 weeks, the level of coronavirus infection among Kazakh residents has increased by 2.4 times. At the same time, the government notes the number of hospitalized patients has increased. The occupancy rate of infectious diseases beds stands at 38% and that of ICU beds 23%. The incidence rate among children is also rising. It increased by 1.3 times among school children as well. According to Kazakh Prime Minister Alixan Smailov, this is due to the rapid spread of Omicron strain. Given the increase in the incidence of coronavirus infection among school children, I instruct the mayors to ensure strict compliance with the sanitary and epidemiological rules in all educational institutions. The work on vaccination and revaccination of the population should be intensified. 5,466 new cases of the coronavirus infection were registered in Kazakhstan in the past 24 hours. The highest daily number of infected people was recorded in the city of Almaty. 1,037 patients caught the infection there. Pavlodar region took the second place with 803 coronavirus cases. Karaganda region came third. 729 people tested positive for COVID-19 there. The total number of coronavirus cases detected in the country has exceeded 1,238,000 since the beginning of the pandemic. More than 141,000 residents are continuing to receive treatment. Over 10,000 out of them are in hospitals, the Kazakh Health Ministry reported. To date, more than 8,766,652 people in Kazakhstan have been fully vaccinated with two components. Turkey sees a new coronavirus outbreak. Over 90,000 new cases of infection have been detected in the country in recent days. However, measures will not be tightened in Anatolia. For about 2 years now, citizens in Turkey have been required to wear masks in public places and have a negative PCR test. The Turkish Ministry of Health notes that vaccination reduces the risk of contracting coronavirus and calls for immunization. 82% of the country's population received both components of the vaccine. Now the third revaccination campaign is underway. I want to say that you should not be afraid of an increase in the number of patients. The virus is no longer as dangerous as it used to be. Meanwhile, Iran has accelerated the pace of mass vaccination of the population. The country's authorities came to this decision due to the growth of infections with the new Omicron strain. According to the Health Ministry, today more than 54 million people have received both components of the vaccine. About 70 million more get a vaccination. The epidemiological situation in Iran has worsened due to the rapid spread of a new variant of the coronavirus. Doctors warned the population about the coming of a new wave of morbidity. For Iran, it may be the 6th in a row since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yesterday, we detected about 30,000 infections of the Omicron strain. I believe that the real number of cases is 10 times higher. Most of those who come to our hospitals have not been vaccinated, and now they are suffering from the consequences of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, Bulgaria is implementing a program of financial assistance to pensioners who get a vaccination against the coronavirus. Starting February 1st, they will receive about $50 in supplementary pensions. These are one-time payments. In addition, some vaccinated pensioners will receive a discount on utility bills. The initiative will not only improve the well-being of citizens, but may also encourage others to get a vaccination, authorities say. Meanwhile, the capital of Bulgaria is considering additional benefits for all vaccinated residents. Vaccination, oncology centers, information systems, combat with coronavirus and many other questions concern the people of Kazakhstan. Citizens were able to add them to the country's Ministry of Health as part of the project 100 Days, 100 Questions. 842 appeals were sent in total. According to the head of the relevant department, Azharginiat, over 50 issues out of them were resolved expeditiously. The remaining 792 are in progress. Your ideas, proposals, recommendations were of special value for us. After a detailed study, we will start working on including them into the working plan on improving the organization of medical care, provision with medicines, improving the quality of human resources, and other quite important aspects of medicine. The number of requests is increasing every day. I guarantee that each issue will be analyzed and not a single question asked will be ignored, the minister emphasized. In addition, during the implementation of the project, Azharginiat plans to travel to the regions to hold public meetings. Over a third of appeals to the iKOMEK center from the residents of the capital are about the Omicron variant. Its specialists have summed up this data over the first months of this year. In total, over 224,000 people appealed to the center in January. 72,000 out of them needed advice on health issues, head of the iKOMEK city center, Janat Bubirova, said. According to her, about 97.5% of such appeals from the residents of the capital were fulfilled.
Больше всего наших жителей за январь этого месяца
In January, our residents were mostly interested in the symptoms of COVID-19, issues of attaching to a clinic, requesting a house call, or calling mobile ambulance teams. Also, the contact numbers of the clinics to which they are attached and the issues of vaccination and booster shots became more popular at the end of the month. That's just like the people of our entire planet. Our residents are most interested in the spread of Omicron.
Как, в принципе, и жители, наверное, всей нашей планеты.
The iKOMEK contact center has been operating since 2018. It was created based on the experience of similar centers in the United States and Canada. People can appeal here with healthcare, education, public transport issues, and in general problems of the life of the city. You can contact the operators by calling 109 or through social networks or a mobile application. Mobile pharmacies supply medicines to remote areas. The social project is being implemented in Karaganda region. Specially equipped complexes travel to villages in accordance with approved schedule and applications. Most importantly, the prices for the medicines are 15% cheaper there than in immobile pharmacies. Drugs for patients in dispensaries are brought free of charge.
В районах, к сожалению, не во всех развита аптечная сеть, поэтому вот эти передвижные...
Unfortunately, not all districts have a well-working pharmacy network, so these mobile points are highly relevant. Given the current wave related to the possible circulation of the Omicron variant that's transmitting to a very large number of people, we decided to deliver the medicines to make our population move less. There is a very big list of up to 2,000 to 2,500 drugs.
У нас перечень очень большой, до 2,5 тысяч наименований.
Chronicle of the Kazakh Khanate in poetic lines. The book of the writer and poetess Bopai Khanym was presented in the capital. The poem tells about one of the most influential women of that time, who founded the first women's school in the Great Steppe. Through her work, the author tried to convey the artistic image of not only the beloved wife of Abulkhair Khan, but also an image of the associate who became a wise advisor and reliable support. The poem consists of 7 chapters based on archival letters addressed to the political elite of the Russian Empire.
Не жазыпты, қалай болды екен деп келдік, оқып шықтық. Әдемі жұп-жұқа Қырғызстан.
We came to get to know the book better. I think that this is a beautiful work of art based on historical events. The archive contains the letters of Bopai Khanym. Based on this data, as well as on imagination and poetic skills, the author's book turned out to be simply wonderful.
Қосып жап-жақсы кітап шығарыпты. Бұл не? Бұл Маржанның еңбекқорлығы.
The work reveals previously unknown facts. Bopai Khanym was born in the west of the country in the area of Kenjala-Oy. This information is taken from archival sources, which the poetess skillfully uses in her lines, exposing new branches of the country's history. The cover of Marjan Yershu's book is symbolically decorated with a portrait of Bopai painted from life by the English artist John Castle in 1736. He conveys not only her beauty, but also refinement and grandeur.
Сол суретіне қарап отырып Bopai Khanымның ескерткішін қою керек. Бұл да керек.
Looking at this image, I want to erect a monument to Bopai. This is important in terms of popularizing her image. It should be used in theatrical and other productions. My dream is to embody the image of Bopai on the stage and stage a drama based on the poem.
Менің арманым осы сахнаға шығару. Bopai Khanымды, осы поэмамды драмаға айналдырғым келеді.
One of the main tasks of the poetess is to ensure that the body of Bopai Khanym, which is buried next to Abulkhair Khan in his tomb in the Orenburg region of Russia, is returned to the historical homeland. Abish Kekilbayev has already raised this issue once. By the way, the writer was one of the first in the country to mention in his works the wife of the ruler of the Kazakh Khanate. Among them are such books as Urker and Yelena Lan. Symbolically, the presentation of the book took place in the Kekilbayev Hall of the National Academic Library. Khabar Agency has released a thematic calendar dedicated to environmental issues. The goal is to preserve natural resources and popularize various initiatives in the field of environmental protection. Therefore, each month of the calendar is dedicated to a specific environmental issue. There is another feature, a special QR code in it. With its help, you can get acquainted with all the materials on the theme of ecology of the Khabar Agency. However, this is only the beginning. Currently, new projects related to environmental protection are being prepared.
Проблема экологии становится настолько глобальной и важной для всего человечества.
Ecological problems are becoming so global and significant for all humanity. And imagine a situation when there will be nothing to drink, nothing to eat, nowhere to go. Then all problems disappear. So think about it. And with our projects, we are also trying to somehow direct people so that they realize how the problem of ecology is very important for everyone.
Они осознавали, что проблема экологии очень важна для всех.
Просто иногда нужно посмотреть на этих животных, прелестных, милых, которые...
Sometimes you just have to look at these lovely, cute animals who are ready to give us their love, their tenderness. And remember that all these beauties, glamorous things we get by sacrificing these animals. Because cosmetics are tested on animals, there is no need to talk about fur coats, leather jackets and raincoats. Therefore, let's take care of our nature. Let's take care of our beautiful animals, because without them there is no life on this earth.
Беречь наших прекрасных животных, потому что без них нет жизни на этой земле.